Ah, the innocence of youth. A time when you underestimate an obstacle and completely overestimate yourself. This is a story about such a day. Now, I hate to say it, but again, Officer Pretty Boy was in the vicinity. He wasn't the cause, mind you. He was just around. Because, again, he's the ringleader. Or he was. Anyway, a group of his friends and a couple of my acquaintances from the church we used to go to would walk around a lot. This is before everything devolved into my cousin's shenanigans. In the group that was walking with us was the bride, unusually suspect, Officer Pretty Boy himself, another person who we will call Night of the Living Dummy, and yet another person who we will call Hypergoth. There might have been some other people, but it was a while ago. Like I said, it was before everything devolved. For some reason, we all felt cool just walking with Officer Pretty Boy. Nowadays, we don't. So whatever he did, somebody else had to try at the time. He would pop a wheelie off a table, I'll tell you that later, and somebody else would try it from a shorter distance off the ground. In this particular case, this is before the town tried to develop itself a little bit. So there was all kinds of debris on the ground at a certain location. My cousin, being the absolute alpha male wannabe type of guy, he saw a piece of debris, which is a long pole with a chunk of concrete hanging off of it, or attached to it. It was kind of like a concrete spear, you know? Now here's the thing. As soon as he saw that spear, he tried to throw it. Now, again, here's where our limits make us look stupid. When he picked it up, he could barely get it this high off the ground because it was a huge pole. Not huge, but like sizable. And a whole chunk of cement on top of that. Anyway, he picked it up this far off the ground and grunted as loud as he could and threw it about this far. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the stupidity. Because one guy did it, the others had to follow. First unusually suspect tried it. He couldn't pick it up. Now, I might have been stubborn back in the day, but I knew my limits as far as weights. So the only other guy that was left was Night of the Living Dummy. Fortunately, this guy was able to pick it all the way up off the ground. Gentlemen, next time you want to show off your testosterone, don't do this. As soon as Night of the Living Dummy picked up that pole, you know what he did? He attempted to chuck it, hammer throw style. You know, you've seen Olympics, right? He did that, but he wasn't holding on to the other end. He was holding on to maybe half of it. So when he swung, the part that was still touching the floor behind him swung out and chopped off his legs from underneath him. Now, when we saw this, Hypergoth and I ran towards him to see what was going on, because Unusually Suspect and Officer Pretty Boy were already there checking on him. Now, I'd like to say, I'm the type of person that worries about everybody. So, when I saw him collapse out the corner of my eye, I thought, I don't know, maybe he was having a sudden seizure that made him drop. He was significantly older than us, so I thought, oh man, does he have cholesterol or like, does he have a bad heart? Anyway, Hypergoth and I ran towards him to see what was going on. By that point, my two cousins were already sitting by him, making sure he was okay. When we got there, Hypergoth, bless her, was laughing. Now, she tried to play it off like she wasn't laughing at Night of the Living Dummy, but we all knew she was. We all knew she was laughing, and personally, I didn't like that back then, because I was trying to keep it together myself, and she was not. Anyway, she played it off, and she kept saying, I'm not laughing at you, and then she would just drown out the rest of the sentence with laughing. I asked her, right, it's just a nervous reaction, right? No, it's actually, and then she would devolve into laughing. This guy, Night of the Living Dummy, he was the adult and he decided to test his physical prowess. My name is Reagan von Lemuos. I'm not convinced he doesn't have a bad knee.